Is there any Pixar villain more terrifying than Anton Ego? Today, Ratatouille screenwriter Jim Capobianco will reveal how Ego's character was developed and what makes him a memorable and crucial part of the film.
It's not only about the acting of the character. When you start coming up with like extraneous things, it doesn't fit into that mold, then it needs to go. So with Ego, it kind of evolved that way.
I'd like some fresh, clear, well-seasoned perspective.
Make sure to subscribe so you never miss our videos. Plus, stay with us until the end to uncover the surprising inspiration behind the iconic flashback scene. Screenwriter Michael Arndt identifies three types of stakes in a movie. External stakes, the goal or objective driving the plot forward. Will Luca and Alberto win the race? Will the chickens be able to escape? Will Remy and Linguini save the restaurant? We also have the internal stake, the emotional struggles of your character. Can Luca live a life where he's free to explore the world? Can Ginger convince the chickens to believe in her? Can Remy become a chef? And finally, we have the philosophical stake, the moral theme behind your story. What will prevail in the end? Prejudice or acceptance? Apathy or rebellion? Elitism or inclusion?
What I say is true. Anyone can cook.
Alright, how does this relate to Ratatouille?
You really need that character that's the antithesis of what the main character's after. So if you look at it in a global way, Remy is a cook, a chef, and the biggest antagonist to a chef is a critic. So in the simplest terms, you have that friction.
You provide the food, I'll provide the perspective.
Ego is not just an external threat to the restaurant. He also challenges everything Remy stands for.
If I don't love it, I don't swallow.
He became this sort of embodiment of the philosophical goal of Remy in a way. Its goal is to save the restaurant and to become a cook. The external goal is to save the restaurant and to like save it from Ego, but then Ego through Remy embodies the philosophical goal of the film, how it transforms people and everything. And that's how he developed in a great voice.
How could it be?
Remy is about bringing life to people in a sense. He's really about you feed people and he brings life and nourishes them and stuff. Whereas Ego is about sucking the life out of things.
And Remy brings life to him with the flashback.
It's brilliantly designed by Brad and his team as they evolve the story even further. Like, coffin-like room and, visually storytelling his character through a whole space, which I think is really important for people to remember. It's not only about the acting of the character, it's about the environment, the lighting, the place, everything. As a writer, it's hard to write those things. You can't really, but as much as you can sort of indicate direction of character within moments in the scene and everything. Like everything needs to point to the characters, how they're going to move towards that goal. They're either going to point to pushing against character or moving them forward. And I believe that's everything in the movie. When you start coming up with like extraneous things, it doesn't fit into that mold, then it needs to go.
You're Anton Ego.
Ego becomes a powerful enemy who can either save or ruin the restaurant with just one review, which would get in the way of Remy becoming a cook. And while Remy represents transformation, Ego symbolizes distraction. Next time you're creating an antagonist, ask yourself, how are they the antithesis to your protagonist? How do they relate to the external, the internal, and the philosophical stakes of your story? And how can you incorporate visual storytelling to this character? Before you discover how the iconic Ratatouille flashback came to be, I've got something for you. It's a free PDF guide on making a great villain in your story. This guide gives you tips and tricks to create a villain that really stands out. It's totally free, just click on the link under the like button to get your guide. Elevate your story by transforming a flat antagonist into a villain that stands out.
Now, the interesting thing about that flashback, when we developed it originally, it was Gusto who had that flashback. So originally, the original version, Gusto was the one Remy was trying to kind of like revitalize him from the great chef he once was. He was kind of like a sellout. Everything Skinner does in the current movie, that's what Gusto was trying to do. You learn about chefs, the thing they always long for, even though they get really big, is to have that food that their moms made for them or that home cooking. There are things they love is like, let's just make some food together. Well, the idea was to suggested by Enrico Casarosa, because he was watching Shaolin soccer, and there was some kind of moment where you flash back into somebody's past, and he pitched that idea, and I was like, I love that. That is great. And then we had Ronnie Del Carmen storyboarded it, and then Brad came in, and he's like, okay, I like all this, but I need to bring it in. And he killed off Gusto, and they made him a ghost. And then put the focus more with Remy against Ego, in a sense. And so Ego, because Gusto's dead, Ego needed to be the one who would have the flashback. And in this telling, it obviously works brilliantly.
It's a beautiful moment. It shows like that you cannot plan everything, and you discover as you move along.
And you rely on other people. I think a lot of people get hung up on the sense, I got to come up with everything. And I think that's really detrimental to creativity.
Now it's your turn. Maybe all your story needs is an iconic villain. So click on this video to discover 9 principles that will transform any flat antagonist into a spectacular villain. I'm Pietro, this is Write for Animation, and I'll see you in the video.
Back to work!